Okay guys, so this is not my usual positive happy video that I normally post, and I'm really sorry for that. I apologise in advance, but I just wanted to follow up on the post that I posted the other day about the painkillers, because it came as a bit of a shock to me, because I've been prescribed OxyContin about 6 weeks prior to surgery, and prior to that I'd been on Endone for quite some time. And I was of the belief that with the OxyContin, and specifically that I had to take it religiously morning and night, because it was a slow release painkiller, and which I had been doing. That's exactly what I had been doing. And post surgery they I assumed would reduce the dose down. And when I went back for my 2-week post-op appointment with my surgeon, I did actually tell him that I was walking 5 kilometers most days, and that I was on a regime to lose some weight and everything else, and he was more than happy with that, and prescribed me another 2 weeks worth of OxyContin at the same strength as what I'd previously been on, which I believe was 10 milligrams. So when I got to the end of that 2-week script, which was the day before yesterday, I'm not really sure what day that was, I got to within 24 hours of it and rang the surgeon's office, which I'd done prior, to get a repeat prescription faxed through to my pharmacy, which they had done for me prior. And was told by the PA of the surgeon was out of the office for a conference for the next 3 days or however long it was, and she basically told me that I wouldn't be prescribed anything else, and I told her that I was under the impression that I would be weaned off it. Now, some of it is probably my own naivety, and some of it I believe is that my expectations of it wasn't managed. I didn't realise, obviously I knew that the OxyContin that I was on is an opiate, and I'd reduced right down off the Endone, which again I was prescribed post-surgery. I'd reduced right down off that and was mainly taking Panadeine Forte, and my expectation was that the next prescription I would get would just be a lower dose, and that I would be weaned off the painkillers. I didn't believe for a second that, from everything that I'd read, that it would just be stopped and to go cold turkey. So that was what my expectations of it was. My surgeon had never really discussed with me the pain management plan. He'd never discussed with me about coming off it, but I assumed that I would be weaned off it. Needless to say, I wasn't. I was stopped cold turkey. I did go and see my own GP, and my GP surgery actually have a blanket ban on any opiates, which is fair enough. I understand why, and that's totally fine. But I went really just to get some advice, because I was floored when I was told that I couldn't have any more, because I felt that I was doing great. I was walking 5 kilometers a day, and whilst the majority of you have said since then, and rightfully so, that that was probably too much if I was still having to take opiates, then you're right, it probably was too much, but I just thought that that was normal pain. I didn't realise that by this point in time I shouldn't need pain relief. I just thought that I'd had, you know, hip replacement, and the pain that I was experiencing was normal given the exercise that I was doing. So it came as a bit of a shock, and I just wanted to warn anyone out there about the dangers. I can understand now how people get hooked to opioids and painkillers, and I just think that the awareness of it is not enough, and I don't think it's discussed enough with, I don't know what your surgeons are like or doctors are like, but it certainly wasn't discussed enough with me and my surgeons or doctors, about the expectations of where I should be pain-wise, and the expectation of when I would be off painkillers. And I think that that's the danger. So last night I went through horrible withdrawals. My GP surgery did actually offer to give me some Endone, which for me, having thought about it, was just like swapping one opiate for another. I just didn't see the point in doing that. So decided to go cold turkey. And last night would have reached probably about the 36-hour zone out from taking them. And I have to say it was pretty rough. It was a pretty rough night. I was tossing and turning, very much like having a flu, where you toss and turn in bed and you feel like you've been asleep for hours and wake up and it's only 5 minutes later. It was very much like that. Very sweaty, very clammy, but also that the main thing for me was the what I would call nerve pain. So it was like the nerve pain that I had been getting down my thigh, but all over my body. It was like every nerve in my body was on edge. It wasn't like it was on fire, or it wasn't like it was hurting as such, but it was just really uncomfortable, like I needed to move constantly. And I ended up actually getting up and pacing the floor at about 3 o'clock this morning, and then at one point was rocking on the side of my bed because I just couldn't stand to be in one place. So that being said, I've never been addicted to anything in my life, and that being said, I do genuinely think that I've gone through proper withdrawals. I feel very foggy today, very dizzy, a bit sickly. I'm hoping that I won't get the nerve pain again, and I'm hoping that that's the end of that. 48 hours out now, I'm hoping that that's the end of that. But I guess the reason for me doing this video is I just wanted it to stand as a warning. I consider myself a very strong, motivated person, and I don't think that as hippies we don't need to be going through withdrawals after hip replacement surgery, and it's certainly something that I never expected having to go through, and I certainly didn't think that I would be. But I'm glad that I have, and I'm glad that I've gone cold turkey, and I'm glad that as it stands right now I've got no painkillers in my system and that I was able to get off it. But not everybody would be able to do that, so that's why I've done this video. It is very exposing to me and quite hard to put out there, but I just think that it needs to be put out there, because we do as hip replacement patients, we do have access to strong painkillers and opioids, and I think that we need to know the expectations of managing that. And I don't think that we should leave that up to our surgeons and doctors. I think that we should educate ourselves in that. The other thing that I really want to touch on as well, and I'm not saying that this was the issue with me at all, but I think we also need to discuss expectations of ourselves. It's all well and good to watch videos on Facebook of people doing, you know, amazing things 8 days post-surgery. But we have to realise that we are all individuals, we all heal very differently, and we are all capable of very different things. And whilst it's great and encouraging to see videos of other people doing amazing things after very short periods after surgery, that's not all of us. And I think that I have been guilty of pushing myself. I have been guilty of saying to myself, well, such and such did it, so therefore my body should be able to do it. And I don't think that's the case at all. I think we're all very, very different, and our expectations should be realistic, and we should realise that just because one person is able to do it doesn't mean we all are. And I think that I've been very guilty of that. I've been very guilty of pushing myself too far. So on a happier note, I will be taking it much easier. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stop my walking, because obviously I need that for both physical health and mental health, and I am still trying to lose weight. I've lost 5 kilos already since surgery, and I do intend to continue with that, but I will not be walking 5 kilometers per day. I'll be taking it very, very slowly. Yesterday I didn't do any structured exercise, what I call structured exercise. I did all my PT and I did walking up and down the house, and as you can see, sunny Brisbane has turned pretty rainy at the minute, so that's a really good excuse for me not to go out and do my walks. So that's great. I mean, the weather is on my side right now, and it's bound me to the house, which is fantastic, and that deck looks really, really slippery, and I don't want to be going on there with my cane. So so I'll be staying in for the next few weeks, and just doing walking around the houses, and we live on a fantastic estate which has got beautiful walks around it, so, and I can do a 5-minute walk without too much of a problem round trip. So that's exactly what I'll be doing. I'm not going to give it up completely. I'm going to take it very, very easy. I was very concerned that I may have done damage to this gorgeous new hip that I've got, but I don't think I have. I think it's just the painkillers were masking everything that was there, and it was allowing me to do so much. So lesson learned, But please, 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 guys, learn from my lesson. Don't go through this yourself. You really don't need to be going through withdrawals, you know, a month post-op. So just heed my warnings and just, you know, happy healing. Don't be put off by this. It's not meant to be a scaremonger video. It is literally just, you know, serving as a warning to everybody. So happy healing, guys, and speak to you soon. Bye.